Good morning. Hello. Hey, Tanya. Scott White. What's up, buddy? All right. Just going to get started here in a couple minutes. So thanks everybody for jumping on. Um, let's see. People are hopping on. I'm going to set this up to go live in the group as well. So, hey, Justin, John. Hey, Samantha. All right. So I'm going to set this up, and then I'm going to go. So I'm going to share my screen in a couple of seconds. So while people are joining, hope everyone's having a fun Friday morning so far. And we're going to get into some really cool stuff. 56 appointments in 7 days. And we're going to get into a number of ways that that you can do that, and kind of how we did it with our inside sales team. And we're going to share some really awesome strategies, and also going to share some good sources, lead sources that we use, and also show you some retargeting and a number of other really cool things. So while we're setting up, I just want to make sure it's going live inside of Real Closers, and then we'll get going. Let's see. Yeah. All right, cool. So it looks like we're live. All right. So first of all, again, just want to say thanks to everybody for joining. At the bottom of the screen, there's a place where you can chat, and there you go. So you posted it, and Joel Grainer. I'm the only one that could see that, so that's cool. But if you want anyone else to see it, you can change it to everyone. So if you guys want to ask questions and let everybody else see your questions, then just go ahead and on the bottom hit everyone when you scroll down, or there's a arrow down and you can see. So I don't want to teach you guys how to use Zoom, but okay. So I'm going to share my screen and have a little presentation. Basically, what we're going to talk about is how we set 56 appointments last week using an inside sales team. So if you're not aware, I'll give you a little background on me. Been in the industry since 2002. Worked for a major home builder. Was the number one agent in the country for that home builder. Done now probably closer to like 10,000 transactions from the time that we made this slide. Founder, whatever, all this stuff, blah, 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 right? Doesn't matter. I kind of know what I'm doing. That's pretty much all you have to know. But my big thing is lead generation, and always have been a big believer in creating systems and leverage and sort of duplicating myself. I learned very early on, particularly when I was first getting started in working with different brokerages. Mostly everybody has great intentions as far as a brokerage is concerned, but what I learned very early on that I had to be the one to create the opportunities for me, right? Just like Gary Keller says, it's lead generation is the most important part of our business. So understanding lead gen is super important. So the first thing I'm going to share, like I said, I'm going to talk about the top lead sources and strategies. I'm going to talk about the VA team and how we set that up, and then I'm going to talk about also how you can build out a lead system for yourself as well. So the first thing I want to share is our Real Scout retargeting platform, and basically what this is the ability for us to create a massive amount of leads through retargeting, and every one of our leads that we generate goes into this retargeting campaign. And I can, if you want to learn more specifics, because I'm not going to spend too much time on like exactly how, like step by step how we do it, but I'm going to give you a general overview on how we specifically use Real Scout. But I want to show you, if you can look at my screen, this is something that basically updates every 5 minutes. So anytime we generate a new lead, we add them into Real Scout. Okay. And Real Scout will be sending them listing alerts and blasting them with content. And anytime somebody takes action inside of Real Scout, that activity shows up in Follow Up Boss. So we integrate it with Follow Up Boss. Okay. So what you see here, where we have a screen share here where you can see every 5 minutes, we have hundreds of leads. And it's not only coming from Real Scout, but this is like one of the main areas that we focus on. But we're retargeting in a lot of different places. And these are lots of different leads that are going, that are being, kind of sent with content to, like we're delivering content to them. And so anytime that they engage or they register or they click or anything that happens, it shows up in here. And so you can see pretty much like on an hourly basis, how many leads that we're generating. And you can set this up. It's not difficult at all. And if anyone has questions on how to do it, just let me know and I'll show you how. Because this is like super powerful. And you can see here. So a few seconds ago, this person viewed this property. So it shows the person's name. It shows the address of the property, the price, when they visited. And this person, how many times they viewed homes inside of our database since they've been in our database. So it's like 1,800 times they viewed different properties. And you can see they've been in our database since 2018. So a lot of times people say, well, I only want to focus on brand new leads. Well, okay, that's great. But my answer is I want to focus on, regardless of when they came in, it's about what they're doing today is what I want to focus on, right? So if somebody came into my database 5 years ago, and you can see it's like updating in real time. You can see if they come into my database 5 years ago, I want to know what they're doing right now. So that's what this is able to show me. So everybody should have this. Like everybody should have it. Because anytime we generate a new lead, and I'm going to show you, Roopler is like my favorite lead source right now. Roopler's been like amazing. And anytime we generate a lead from Roopler, that lead comes in to our system, and then we put that lead into Real Scout, and then it starts sending them alerts, and then those leads show up here. So you can see, like again, like this is Sheila Woodley. She inquired about a $647,000 home. This is the home she looked at 2 minutes ago, and she's actually online right now. You can see that she's online right now. So the question is, how do you set 56 appointments in a week? Well, how we do it is by focusing on people that are lower in the funnel, that are ready to transact, that are more likely to transact, right? So would you say that somebody who has just looked at a house 12 minutes ago and they saved one of them, is that a person that we should be following up on? Absolutely, right? So that's what we're talking about today. One second. So now you see this here on the left-hand side, this green dot, it says that they're online right now. So that means they're literally like on their phone. They're doing something where they're looking at properties. And these are the different sources you can see, like Facebook, Ylopo, Import. There should be some Roopler leads in there. Now, if I click on this, it'll show also who is, what properties they're looking at. Where is it? Right here. Okay. So I can see that they're looking at this home 4 minutes ago, a day ago, okay, and so on, right? So and then from here, I'm going to share with you how we have our inside sales team reach out to everybody. So if you guys have questions on this, I'm going to kind of move on, so that we can continue here. But basically, one thing that I learned early is to create as many opportunities as possible for my team. So there's people that do things different ways when leads come in. So I've seen people say, okay, when leads come in, I'm only going to send them to my agents only, right? If you have a team. And then I've seen other people say, if a lead comes in, I'm only going to send it to my inside sales team because I want my inside sales team to pre-approve it and so forth. What I realize is, for me, the best way that works right now is when a lead comes in, it's a jump ball situation where the agents have access and so do the inside sales team. That's going to increase my likelihood of somebody picking up the phone and reaching out. And once again, you can see these things happening in real time. A few seconds ago, it's like all of it's updating. So, and I'm going to share with you another lead source that has been incredibly powerful recently that I started using, and it's called Roopler. And I want to share a couple of examples. I'm just looking up some names here so you guys can see how that works. So let me pull up this person's name. Jasper Thomas. Okay. So one thing I like about the Roopler leads is that every single one of them has a series of questions that gets asked of them. Like it asks them, what area are they looking for? What price point are they looking for? What timeline are they looking to buy in? So by the time I get that lead, they've already answered a series of questions. And that's really, really powerful because number one, they've already engaged with my team or with me. Right? The client has already engaged with us. So they basically, through their AI, through Roopler's AI, we're able to see the level of engagement from that client. And we don't get any leads from Roopler unless that person has answered those questions. So it creates a much more warmer sort of situation with those clients. Like, I've had so many times where people have submitted a registration form, and then we call them and they hang up on us because 10 other agents have called them, or they're just not interested. In this situation, people are actually responding to questions. So it's really, really powerful because they're very interested, right? They're ready to talk to somebody. So that's the power of using Roopler and Roopler's AI. And that's why we're able to generate, I think out of the 56, like 39 of them were from Roopler. And I'll share with you guys another example. Let's see here. Here's one. This is Merelda Herrera. Let's see. So I'm hoping you guys don't reach out to these clients, okay? I trust everybody here is a professional. So here's another really good example. You can see like a Roopler lead. This is what's cool is that, so somebody, they register, and then here are the questions that they get answered, which is freaking awesome, right? Like the AI does the questions for me. So it's like, what's the price range? 390,000. What's the area that I'm looking to buy in? It's 95354. It goes off of zip code. What else? How many bedrooms and bathrooms are they looking for? 2 bedroom, 3 bath, whatever. I want to stay in a $350,000 range. And this is somebody that's in the Central Valley of California. So that's why the price point is where it is. And then, have you spoken with a mortgage person yet? Need to get into a house this month, be done with escrow. All right, that's pretty cool. Have you signed with another agent yet? Yes. Oh, that sucks, right? But there's a follow-up question, and this is where the inside salespeople come in, where we ask them 2 things. One is, hey, are you committed to that agent? Like, are you committed? Are you fully committed? Is everything going the right way for you? Or would you be open to a second opinion, right? So it's interesting because they're asking all these questions, but then they're saying that they're signed with another agent. So this might, it's kind of a weird one. But all our nights and weekends okay for a call? Well, tomorrow's best. I need to see if I have a chance for a better home than the one I'm looking at now. Not too much was available. Okay, so that's the point, right? So it just allows us to reach out and connect with people in a warm, kind of on a more warm level. So that's one example there. And then let me see if I can get one more on these ones. Satera, let's see. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask or just put it in the chat. So here's another one. Same kind of thing. Person comes in, the AI starts messaging them, and then they get their price point, they get the area that they're looking at, and then we reach out. So we've had a lot of success with Roopler. It's kind of like a new tool. And again, everyone that we generate from Roopler goes inside of Real Scout. Where'd my file? Oh, there it is. It goes inside of Real Scout, and then we start retargeting them. So see again, a few seconds ago, you can see all those updates. So every hour, our team has somebody to reach out to, right? And so if you're an individual agent, there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with this. But that's a good problem to have, right? And so that's where having a team do it for you becomes incredibly important. And so I'm going to share how we set that up with our VAs and how we leverage, mainly most of the people that we work with are overseas. And it's super, super inexpensive. And it's also not like we're abusing anything, because the pay is like a good pay for people that are working in those countries, mainly like in the Philippines or Nicaragua. So, so feel free to ask any questions on this so far if you guys have any. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to share with you how we set up our leads, our lead inside sales team chat. So one thing that's really important is to have a central area where you can communicate with your inside sales team, whether it's if you have one person that's working with you, or even if it's your agents, or if it's anybody that's assisting you. I really think that it's important to have a communication channel where you're constantly talking back and forth. You're constantly communicating like in real time. Like when people say we meet once a week, that's way too long, because so many things can happen in an hour, let alone in a week. So really important to meet with your team on a daily basis and in real time. One thing that we set up that's really important that helps us a lot is by setting goals. If we set a goal with our team or whoever, we set that goal for the month, and then we break it down to weekly, daily, hourly. And so we meet for a short time every day, and we ask, okay, what did we do yesterday to reach our goal? And then what are we doing today to reach our goal? And so every day we do that for 5-10 minutes, and it just kind of reminds everybody that we're working towards, going towards the finish line. But if you look here on this chat, there's a place where all of us communicate. So every day before the day starts, the inside salespeople will say how many appointments they have for the day. So this person doesn't have any appointments today, but they start out with, here's all the appointments I have for the day. And then at the end of the day, they give a report on what happened, the outcome of that appointment. So we know what's going on. So if an inside salesperson sets an appointment for 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, they let us know in the morning. And then by the end of the day, they let us know what the result was with that appointment. And in here also, anytime a lead gets, there's an appointment set, the inside salesperson will post it in the chat. And then that'll, like here, you can see the person's name, the type of appointment, where it's at, the price point, when they're looking to buy. Are they working with a realtor? No. This one, the source happens to be Roopler. Are they looking for a lender? Are they pre-approved? And then what we have here, once the inside salesperson sends out the appointment, then we have our quarterback. She's the Tom Brady of Marker Real Estate. Her name is Ashley. She's our quarterback. So what she does is then she'll make a decision on, okay, based on what you're telling me, this client is, looking in this area, here's when they're looking to purchase or sell or whatever, send this client to this agent. So she's like, send it to Alicia. So then what the inside salesperson will do is reach out to Alicia and explain the situation. Here's what's going on. Here's the client, whatever. And then if Alicia wants to take that client, then she'll assign that lead to Alicia, and then she'll post it in the chat, and she'll also put it inside of Follow Up Boss. So then we now know that Alicia is the one who's responsible for Jasper Thomas. So now let's go back into Follow Up Boss and then look up Jasper Thomas, and let's see what Alicia did. Hopefully she did the right thing. No, Alicia's great. So here's what happens. A lead, once the appointment's set, once they make that introduction to Alicia, now the ISA goes back and sends an introductory text between the client, Alicia, and our lender. And so here's the appointment. That's the thing that they send. But here, the nice part about it is they don't have to sit there and type it all out, right? It's already a template inside of Follow Up Boss. You can set up templates like a text template. If you watch my screen, there's templates you can use. So I think it's like introduction, agent client intro right here. So it's not like they have to sit there and write it all out. They just go straight to the template. They include who's going to be sent on that text, and then they move on. Another nice thing that going back to, using the AI with Roopler is that it will set an appointment for you. So let's say you don't have ISAs in place. What the AI with Roopler will do is it'll continue to communicate with that client until an appointment is set, which is cool. So kind of going back to that, if you don't have this in place yet, which is really important, because if I'm out there on a showing, I'm working with clients. In the past, there was lead providers that would include an autoresponder, just one autoresponder, one text, which is like, wow, that's revolutionary, right? But what happens when the client replies to that auto reply? Now I have nothing to say because I'm out in the field, I'm doing stuff, I don't have an inside salesperson. So what's nice about having that AI piece with Roopler is that it'll start communicating for you, and it'll go ahead and set that appointment for you. So using a platform like that is really, really important when we want to increase our conversions. But if you have a team that's doing it for you, then that's awesome too, right? So and this is something that, like, quite frankly, guys, like, this is what we offer for our agents at our company at Marker. So like if you're a broker, this is definitely something that you want to put in place like right away, because I can't tell you how important it is as an agent for me to be able to have this as an option from my company to be able to provide me hundreds of leads if I want them, right? So like when somebody joins our team, they're going to get access to this right away. They're going to get access to all these leads here. You can see this one was with Facebook. This one was with Curator. This one was with Facebook again, Roopler. So just the list goes on and on. So once an agent joins your team, they'll be able to come in here right off the bat and start making calls, right away. But at the same time, they're getting access to appointments from our inside salespeople, where they're delivering those leads to them kind of on a silver platter, So it's pretty. It's not easy to set up. Like honestly, it's taken me pretty much like my whole career to like work on these things and play around with them to finally put them in set it up in a way that is functional now. But if you want to learn how to do it, just put your name in the chat, or include your number, and we'll reach out to you, and I can help you one-on-one. Like I'm happy to do that and share with you how that works. But again, it's just about creating a flow with your leads coming in, and then sending those leads out to your agents at the same time, where everybody has a chance to work them. And then if the inside salesperson takes that client, they're working to set an appointment, and then you have a place where you can communicate. So this is like super important, and we check in daily on this, like all day. I mean, it's all we do. And then another part that's really important is going back to now tracking all this, and then we can wrap up here in like a couple more minutes. Is we track all this data to make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And there's some really important metrics here. So these are some of our inside salespeople. And so we track the calls made, we track contacts, talk time, texts, emails, appointments. The most important thing is results. I mean, I don't care if you're making one call or if you're making 500 calls. The most important thing is results. So the key here and what we look at is the appointments set and the appointments kept. Two most important things. So if an inside salesperson, their job is to set the appointment, but also they need to make sure that client meets the agent at the appointment. So here's one example where we have one inside salesperson right here, Callie. She set 7 appointments, and I don't know when this timeline was, if it was like yesterday or maybe last week. I don't remember when it was, but 7 appointments, and then out of those 7, 5 of them were kept. That's pretty good. But then you have somebody else here that they set 10 appointments, but only 3 were kept. That's not so good. So then we look at our data to find out why. So what is the difference here? Like based on this data, why is it that Callie said 7 and 5 were kept, but Jesse said 10 and only 3 were kept? So based on the data, I'm looking at it. Jesse actually made more calls. He made more calls. He had a little bit less talk time, 100 less text messages. So so it doesn't look like the data really has made much of an impact. What I would say there is what's happening in the conversation, the difference between what's Callie saying and then what's Jesse saying. So then this is an opportunity for us to coach our inside salespeople to go over some of those things that might be said or not said that are reducing this appointment kept ratio. So those are things that we're looking at daily as well. Let's see, what else do we have here? Anyone else have any other thoughts? I was actually answering questions as I was going, but mainly it's just about being organized. And there's really, although it might seem like there's a lot of things happening, it's really just your CRM, your lead source, like I mentioned, your retargeting, and then your inside salespeople. Like those things are the most, and then of course your agents that you're sending inside salespeople to, or leads to from your inside sales team. One other thing, here's a trick that I forgot to talk about. This is like super important. Another one that's super important. Everything I said is super important. I just keep saying it over and over. Okay, here's an important thing. Why is it that Facebook lead ads suck so bad? Can you guys tell me why? Who could tell me why lead ads are no good? The reason why lead ads are no good, let me maybe back up. Let me tell you why portal leads are good and Roopler leads are good, and leads that have basically, here's why they're good, is because there's a property attached to it. Because there's already in the client's mind, there's already something that they want to see. So usually with a lead ad, there's not a property that they want to see. It's usually like a list. You guys have seen like top 10 homes in San Francisco under $2 million. That's usually kind of how lead ads work. So like, for example, with Realtor.com or any kind of lead provider that has a property, the client's like, I want to see that property. So that's the challenge with lead ads. So what we did to overcome that is when we want to get them on a property. So they inquire on a list of homes. We want to get them on a property though, so that they can have that sort of a thing that they want to go look at. That the desire. There's not really much desire when there's a lead ad. It's just like, I want a general list. So what we do when a lead ad comes in, when they register for a list of homes, we have an integration that once they register for a list of 3-bedroom homes, like for example here, like on Roopler. Let's see, I'll show you. So what we do here is when a person registers for a home in 94521, and this is the price range that they're looking for, right? We'll then send them a list automatically. It'll be a trigger through an integration on Zapier. So once they register for that house in 94521, we immediately send them a list to their email. So that way, when we call them, we can say, hey, I saw that you registered for a list of homes in 94121, whatever. And they'll be like, okay, when do I get my list or whatever, right? Or I'm not really interested. So what we're able to say though is, oh, well, we should have received a list of homes. And let me share with you guys that list. My computer's going kind of slow. Let's see. Let's see if I have it. Let me see, Ashley, if you know where that list is. Facebook ads, it might be this one. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So then what happens is they get that list in their email. So when we call them, instead of that general like nothing that they're not getting, it just like, hey, top list of homes in San Francisco. What they'll get is a list right away sent to their email, and we use it through Zapier. And so if you guys know about integrations, like you just link it up with Zapier, and then it automatically sends them this list to their email or their text, and then they'll get this here. So then they'll be able to scroll through while we're on the phone with them, and we'll say to them, hey, you should have gotten a list. Check your email. It was sent to you automatically right when you sent out that request. And you know what? I like this one house. This house looks amazing over on Calzano Street. You should definitely check that one out because that one's an awesome one. Whatever. So we kind of get them on a property so that they can be focused on a property that we can set the appointment on. Right? So that's really important. If you want to learn how to set that up, I could do another call on that, or just like, again, like send me your info. If there's anything on here that you want to learn more, just reach out to me and I can set you up or whatever. Like if you want to learn about the lead ad stuff, you want to learn about real closers, you want to learn about Roopler. And again, it's not like a pitch on Roopler, but it kind of is because we're using it and it's really awesome. And so like without having this information right here, this 94125 or whatever, there's no way for me to be able to send out that list. That's another thing that I like about the product. So out of the 56 appointments, 39 of them were with Roopler. So that's what I love about it. And let's see what other questions people have. Let's see. Feel free to go ahead and ask if you need anything. Which site do you use to find your VA? Are you paying them hourly or project based? So we've been able to, fortunately, through the years of doing this, we've been able to build relationships with VAs in the Philippines and in Nicaragua. I like using Nicaragua too because of Spanish. And I love using Philippines because most of them are already trained. They already have a background in real estate. There's like, my experience has been really great. So we have relationships with people out in the Philippines. And so if you want to connect with someone, just reach out to me. I mean, a lot of those companies out there, they charge a lot, you know. It's like you're paying like triple, quadruple the hourly rate. So I could hook you up if you want. But if you want to connect with one of those companies too, there's VirtuDesk, there's MyOutDesk, there's Power ISA. So they're all good. But if you want the Markarian connection, I could do that for you too. So just reach out to me. So yeah, I mean, out of this, I'd say the biggest thing is just, again, finding the right lead source. And John Garcia said, I called Roopler, but they never called me back. Oh man, that's not good. Let me see if I can connect you with somebody over there. So the main thing, again, is just finding the right lead sources, having a retargeting campaign, having an inside sales team, and then, being able to distribute in an organized way. So any other questions before we wrap up? It's 9:33, and I don't want to keep you guys on longer. Just post your questions in the chat. I'm going to put my number in the chat as well. So feel free to text me or reach out if you want to learn about any of this. I'm not here to like recruit anybody, but at the same time, we are growing our company. So if you're interested in learning more about that and you're in California, we can definitely set you up, get you on some leads, get you going. If you want to learn about connecting with Real Scout, I can connect you with the owner of Real Scout, Andrew Flatchner, who's an amazing guy, very supportive. He's helped, like these integrations that we have, we built them kind of on our own. And they were very, very supportive in helping us build out these integrations so that we're generating like 40 to 60 to 100 leads an hour. And it's not that hard to do. It wasn't easy to figure it out, but now that we figured it out, it's not hard. Anybody can do it. But I mean, look at that. It's like 4 minutes ago, 7 minutes ago, 9 minutes ago. It's pretty awesome, And I could show you how to do that if you want. And then also lead source, top lead source right now by far is Roopler, 100%. I was actually involved in helping develop Roopler. So I'm super excited about that. And then the VAs, like I said, make sure you have an organized system here. Look, guys, like they're sending us these leads all day long. And most importantly, we know what to do with them. We have our quarterback, Ashley, AKA Tom Brady Coates, is quarterback in those leads. And, but like, let's say when I first started, it was me that was doing it. I was the one delivering the leads out. So, if you want to be the one, then so be it, right? But having that system in place is super important. And the chat that I use for this is just Messenger. I just use Facebook Messenger, but you can use WhatsApp, you can use text. I like using a chat where I can move people in and out. Like if I have a text thread, and if somebody doesn't have an iPhone, it's hard to get them out you have to start a brand new chat, you know? So I like having a Messenger or WhatsApp or something where people can come in and out. And the other part is you have to either set up a phone number for your inside salesperson, or I recommend getting the dialer with Follow Up Boss. Get the dialer with Follow Up Boss and you'll be set. What else? Any other questions before we wrap up? I hope this was good. I hope you guys kind of liked it. Did you pick up anything? I'd love to know one takeaway, if you wouldn't mind, for my own vulnerability. You know, what's one thing that you got out of this that you think was kind of good? I'd love to, if you wouldn't mind putting that in the chat, that would make me feel really happy, that I didn't waste anyone's time. I mean, everybody stayed on, so that's cool. But what's one thing you took away? What's one thing you got out of this that you think was a benefit? I'd love to learn about that. Samuel said, great information. Thanks, man. John said he's going to check out Roopler and Real Scout. What's your chat? Okay, cool. Great systems. Thanks, Scott. Scott, you got a little bit of bias on that one. Scott, me and Scott, we work on the same team. We're teammates. Question. Yeah, go ahead. Put it in where, if you guys can, when you ask a question, put it in so everybody can see. Because a lot of questions are coming in. Change it on the bottom where it says everyone instead of just host and panels. Definitely. I mean, honestly, I'm not using them anymore. So I'm only using Roopler right now. That's my main lead source. Everyone else is just retargeting. So I have a lot of old leads that I bought from Realtor.com. I was spending $65K a month on Realtor.com. So I generate a lot of leads. I mean, you can see how many leads we have here, 237,000 in our database. But the point is, what ends up happening, John, yeah, you get it, right? What ends up happening is our leads themselves that we generate, that I spent so much money on, that becomes a lead source in itself. Their leads themselves are a lead source. So why do I have to go buy new ones, right? So I try to limit it to just one source, one or two. And right now for me, you know which one I'm going with. But what else? Any other questions? I want to make sure. But you guys have my number anyway, so you can reach out to me. I'd love to just connect with you anyways, just learn what you guys are up to, what you're doing. And if there's anything else that you'd like to cover, I don't have all the answers, but maybe you can come on here and do a class and teach us what you're working on. I have luck with buyer leads. Sellers leads is a struggle. Here's one thing on seller leads, man. Check out, if you're in California or if you use Rapatoni, check out Sell Scores on Rapatoni. So you just go to CoreLogic and just go to CoreLogic and you'll be able to pull Sell Score leads. And the Sell Score leads are kind of like Revaluate, Remine, those companies that you have to pay for access. And which those companies are great. I love Chris from Revaluate. But this is a free way to do that. Let me see if I can pull it up. What's my password? FS. So yeah, that way you can start targeting sellers. And what happens with Sell Scores, you can see how likely a person is to sell based on the data that whoever they are, accumulate online. So let me just show this to you real quick. Go to your tax record, go to taxes right here, and then on the bottom, it'll show you the Sell Score. But what I like again about getting buyer leads is that a lot of them have a home to sell too. So we reach out to them and we enter in their information here, their name, to find out if they have a home to sell and what's their Sell Score. Of course, we ask them too, but here's one that we used to own. See if it shows up. So what happens is you pull up a property and then you can see their Sell Score like this. Scroll down. There's a tax record, right? Everybody knows that. And then their sell score, bam, 834. This person's high likely to sell. See? So then what what you can do is create a list where you can export all this. Like go here, and let's say you want to pick a zip code, whatever zip code you want. And what we do is we'll create a spreadsheet based on that zip code, and then we sort based on their sell score who's likely to sell. So I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna wrap up. But right here, so we have our VA actually do it. Okay, so the VAs are not only making calls. So our wonderful VA Morel, she did this. So she'll go into pull up, export all those leads out of the tax record. Here's where you get sellers. You said it's hard to get sellers. Okay, I just got sellers. They're all, look at their sell scores, and there's their phone numbers, their email addresses. So then you might be wondering, how do I get their phone number? Okay, so you get a seller's name, you get their high sell score, 965. That's super high. Then you go to Skip Genie, and then you skip trace their info, and then you'll be able to pull their information. So it's a little bit manual, but that's why you have somebody that's going to do it for you, and you just pay for it. And the way I look at like working with VAs, it's like part of what I'm buying my leads is that cost is part of my leads cost. That's how I look at it. So then you don't have to worry so much. I don't know if I have the login. Yeah. But basically it's pretty much it. And then you pull this data. Now you can retarget them on Facebook. You can call, you can text, you can email, you can go through the numbers and make dials. See, here's all their different email addresses. And yeah, you have to kind of go through them, but then you end up coming up with a really solid list and start targeting them. Like I said, email blast, get them to opt in, stuff like that. But like I said, anytime we get a Roopler lead, we run that campaign to see if they have a home to sell. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to get this lead and that's it. Yeah, the leads are good, but what else am I going to do with those leads? How am I going to maximize the opportunity? So yeah, I mean, we've like last year we closed $500,000 in GCI with Roopler, but I mean, we're also working in other avenues that are getting us other opportunities to maximize those leads. So yeah, it's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, reach out to me if you have any questions. Love to stay in contact with everybody, and hope you all have a fantastic weekend. So everybody that asked those questions, I'll make sure I get back to you, and somebody gets back to you from any of those companies or anything. Okay? Right on. Thank you so much. Have a great day.